Hi mamas and welcome back to my channel. My name's Natalia and today I'm going to guide you through some of my favourite modifications that you can do either in the studio or at home. Now these modifications are safe for women in the first trimester, so it's really important to put your body first and do things safely to protect you and your baby. So I'm going to share with you some of my favourite modifications. But before we get started, make sure that you have your props nice and handy. I'm using 2 blocks and a bolster. If you don't have any props, then I highly recommend that you do get some, because they're not only going to help you throughout your yoga practice, they're also going to help you throughout your journey to motherhood. The first trimester is the most important trimester to take it easy and listen to your body. Just because you don't have a big baby bump right now, it's really important to tune in and see what poses feel right for you. So we always want to get the clear from your doctor that it's safe to work out. And also, if you do feel like you can work out, then really listen to your body. If you need to modify a pose or skip an exercise, then that is completely fine. Really listen to what feels good for you and honor that. The main reason being is because your fetus is attaching to your uterus wall, and we don't want to cause any disturbance with that beautiful process. So honouring your body and really listening to it is key during this time. So with that said, let's hop straight into our class. Let's begin in Cobra Pose. Now, if you are in the first trimester, you might not have a baby bump just yet, but it's really important to know your modifications, so as your body grows and changes, you know how to modify it correctly. So first of all, we're going to grab our 2 blocks and place them out in front of us. And you can either watch or you can practice with me. Now we're going to start to transfer our weight forward and place your hips onto the blocks. You might have to shuffle your blocks over a little bit just so you can get the right position. And from here you can untuck your toes, keeping a slight bend in the elbows. Draw those elbows back behind you and lift up through the chest. We want to focus on opening up through the collarbone and the sternum. We're not so much dumping into the lower back, but more so finding a lift and an opening through the chest. And what this does, it creates a space for your belly and your baby. Bend the knees and transfer your weight back into your heels. So that is option 1. Option 2 is to grab your bolster and place it out in front of you. And from here we're going to move into the same Cobra Pose. So walk your palms forward, drop your hips down onto the bolster, untuck those toes, inhale and lift your chest up towards the sky. Draw those elbows behind you, keeping a slight micro bend there. As you inhale, lengthen and open through the collarbones and the chest, and enjoy this nice little back bend. You can see from here that I'm not putting too much weight onto my belly, but I'm also putting the weight into my hip crease. Bend the knees and transfer your weight back. The third option is going to be in your vinyasa flow. So let's do it together. Come to standing in Tadasana. Feet are parallel. Root down through the 4 corners of your feet. Have a slight tuck in the tailbone. Lift your chest up towards the sky as you find length through the crown of your head. As you inhale, sweep the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. And on the exhale, plant your hands down onto the mat. Step your feet back into high plank. Now from here, you're probably wondering how we're going to get down into our Cobra Pose. So option to drop the knees, untuck the back toes, lower the chest down halfway, and as you inhale, shift forward into your Cobra Pose. From here, we're going to be keeping our weight mainly on our hips and quadriceps. So not putting any weight onto our belly, but again, drawing those elbows in and finding that opening through the chest. Exhale, you're going to shift your weight back into your knees, tuck your back toes, and then make your way into downward facing dog. Let's roll forward back into our plank position, and I'm going to share with you one more option. So come into your plank, and from here, instead of dropping down into chaturanga, what you're going to do is drop your knees, untuck the back toes, and come into all fours. Instead of coming into Cobra Pose, another great modification is to come into Cow Pose. So as you breathe in, come into Cow Pose, and then on the exhale, tuck your back toes to meet in downward facing dog. And this is a really simple modification that you can do when you're in your vinyasa flow. So if you're in a class or if you're practicing at home and you want to be in the same rhythm as the rest of the class, then it's really easy just to come into that beautiful cow pose and then back into downward facing dog without putting any pressure onto your belly. The next modification I'm going to share with you guys is twisting. Now, twists are not really recommended throughout our pregnancy because they can be really damaging towards the baby's airway, cutting off circulation. Now, let me define what a twist is. So a twist is when your belly button crosses over one way. You can see the supporting leg, the twisting leg here, and it crosses over. So we don't want to cause any twisting that way. There are some safe twists that you can do, and I'm going to share them with you right now. So let's hop into it. So come into chair pose. So keep your feet parallel, nice and straight. And take a micro bend in the knee and send the weight back as if you're sitting in a chair. You can bring your arms out in front of you, right next to your ears. As you breathe in, you can bring your hands to heart center. Now from here, some teachers might guide you to hook your left elbow onto the outer edge of your right knee. And this is a twist that we don't want to do. But a way that you can modify this is by dropping your left palm down onto the ground and then inhale, reach your right arm up towards the sky. And this is an open twist here that is safe. You can stay here for 3 breaths. And then when you're ready, you can come back through to center and then standing. That is a really safe way to do a twist. So having those open variations is really key, so keep that in mind. Let me share with you another demonstration of a twist. So come to standing, into Tadasana, feet are parallel. And from here, you're going to send the left leg behind you into crescent lunge. So keeping the right foot grounded down to the mat, left foot is up onto the ball of your foot. And from here, you can bring your hands through to heart center. And again, lean forward. From here, your teacher might ask you to hook that elbow back over to the right knee. And again, we don't want to be doing any of those type of twists. But instead, what you can do is plant the left hand down onto the mat. Inhale, extend the right arm up towards the sky and come into an easy twist. This is a safer option for you and your baby. If this doesn't feel good in your practice, what you can do is plant the right hand down onto the mat and extend the left arm up towards the sky, coming into a more open variation. Coming back through to neutral, and there you go. They are some safe twists that you can do throughout your vinyasa practice. Now, you might be thinking, hey, what about the twists that are on the floor? Don't worry, I got you. So we're gonna come to lay on the floor, and when we go to lay on the floor now, we're going to change the way that we get down there. What you want to do is transfer your weight into one hip and then slowly make your way down onto the floor and then onto your back. This is a really safe way to get down onto the floor because you don't want to be using your abdominal muscles. Now, you don't want to be using those abdominal muscles because that cuts off the circulation to your baby's supravena cava, causing them not to breathe and deliver oxygen to their body. So no more sit-ups and no more laying straight back down, but I'm going to go through some core work with you next. So let me just share this one supine twist with you guys and then we'll move straight into core work. Alright, so supine twist, you would normally extend one leg out to the ground and hug one knee in towards your chest. From here, you would normally wrap that leg over onto the other side, having a nice twist in the lower back. Now, because we're pregnant, we don't want to be doing any of that. Instead, what you can do is plant your left foot down onto the mat, flex your right foot and wrap it over your left knee, coming into a figure 4 shape. From here, you can heel toe your foot over to the left side and then drop your knees to the right. See how my body is nice and open. I'm still getting that twist through the hips, but my torso is nice and square in alignment, and I've got that nice opening here. And this is a really safe twist that you can practice. Okay, so moving on, we're going to roll over to one side and safely push yourself back up to sitting. Now, core work. What I was just chatting about is really important not to work our core muscles too hard. So there are different exercises that you can do throughout your practice that are safe for you and your baby, but doing crunches and doing all those regular sit-ups is not going to be a part of your routine or your practice. So it's really great to modify in other ways and still get that great core workout that you're after. So let's hop into some core strengthening exercises that are safe during your pregnancy. Let's come back into high plank. So from here, we're going to come into our high plank position, ground your hands down towards the mat and extend both of your legs out in front of you. From here, you're going to keep the left hand planted down onto the mat and roll onto the blade of your left foot, coming into a side plank. Now, side plank is such a great exercise to improve your core strength, but there's other ways that you can modify this pose. You can from here plant the right foot down into the mat and then bend your left knee, keeping your weight supported into that left knee. You can reach your arm up towards the sky and find a really nice modification for side plank. Another option is to extend your left leg underneath you. Come back into your side plank. As you breathe in, you're going to lift that right leg up towards the sky and you're going to step it out in front of you. From here, you can breathe in and find that really nice core work as you're going to be targeting those muscles underneath here. Good job. Bring that right leg back on top and then come back down. And they are 3 simple exercises that you can do to help build your core. I've got one more for you. So, you're going to grab a block and you're going to plant both feet down onto the mat. Take your block and place it inside your inner thighs. Normally in yoga we would come into Navasana, boat pose, but we don't want to be causing too much contraction within our abdominal area. So a really great core exercise that I love to do is to point my toes. And we're not so much crunching in our abdominal area, but thinking about squeezing the block together. And this is going to activate your pelvic floor muscle. So from here, squeeze that block together, really squeeze that pelvic floor muscle as if you're putting on a tight pair of jeans, like you're sucking everything in. Good, hold it here for 3, 2, 1, release. Okay, let's do 2 more rounds. We're going to squeeze it in for 3, 2, 1, release. Last one, lean back, squeeze that block with everything that you have. Zip up that tight pair of jeans for 3, 2, 1, and relax. So using the block is kind of like using a weight in a way. So doing pelvic floor exercises during your pregnancy is going to be so beneficial, not only for your journey to motherhood, but also throughout your birth and postpartum. So I highly recommend doing that exercise to really strengthen that pelvic floor muscle. There's one more core exercise that I want to walk you guys through, and that is bird dog. So come up onto all fours, Shoulders stacked on top of your wrists, hips on top of your knees. Ground down through your 10 fingers. You're going to extend your right leg behind you. Extend your left arm out in front of you. And from here, lift your right leg up towards the sky. This is a really great pose to help you balance. But if you would like something a little bit more challenging, you can draw your left elbow in and your right knee in towards your center. Exhale, extend it back. Inhale, bring it in towards your center. Now your knee and your elbow don't have to touch. It's just more about drawing it in towards your center and then extending it back out. And then come back to neutral. Coming into all fours, this pose right here is going to be key throughout your pregnancy. It's such a safe way for you to practice any exercise because you've got that beautiful space in the center for your baby, and you have a little bit more stability with your hands and knees grounded down onto the earth. So mostly any exercise from this pose is generally safe, and that's just a really good tip to keep in mind throughout your pregnancy. All right, we're nearly there, guys. Moving on to back bends. So back bends are going to feel really great during your pregnancy. Now, I really advise you to take back bends with caution. If you have a strong back bend in your practice, then I would really slowly ease into it because we don't want to tear anything within our abdominal area. If you are new to back bends, then I really suggest modifying and taking it easy. So let me share with you some really great ways to modify in your back bends. We're going to make sure we have a block nice and handy and our bolster. And from here, we're going to roll onto one hip, lower your body down towards the mat, and then find your way onto your back. Bring your heels nice and close into your body, just so the backs of your fingertips can touch your heels. Now from here, inhale and curl your spine up towards the ceiling. You can place a block underneath your hip bones. I like to keep mine on the lower setting. This is a really nice way to modify your bridge pose. It's more supportive, you're not going to be putting too much pressure onto your belly and baby. And it's more about finding that lift up through the hips and breathing into the pose. From here, you can lift your hips up a little bit higher, remove your block to the side, and slide your bolster under if you would like a little bit more height within your practice. Using the bolster is such a nice restorative pose. It's not putting too much pressure on your hips, but it's giving you that extra height that feels really nice. And as you inhale, lift your hips up towards the sky, slide the bolster away, and then lower your hips back down to the earth. Roll over to one side, and then come back up to sitting. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this prenatal modification class. If you are a new mama, then I just want to send you my biggest congratulations because this is such an amazing time for you and your partner, and I just want to send you a big hug. If you did enjoy this class, then make sure that you like and subscribe to my channel because I create a lot of prenatal yoga flows and prenatal workouts. If you want to know a little bit more about me, then I am a yoga teacher and a registered nurse. So I have a whole heap of knowledge about health and wellness, and I just love sharing it all on here with you guys. So if you'd love to support my channel, that would help me out a lot, and I wish you all the success on your wonderful journey to motherhood. Namaste.